Here's part 3 of our conversation with Joseph Williams. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Anyway, Black Dahlia.
Yeah, Dahlia. That was a song that was sort of a return, a reunion with me and Jay Gruska, who was my brother-in-law for 1,000 years. You know, he produced my first solo album when I was 21, and a dear friend. And he's been a TV composer, film composer for 30 years. You know, he's done so many TV shows that have had long runs, Supernatural, Charmed, all of these shows. So he's a working composer, but he's also a magnificent producer and songwriter. I mean, just really wonderful. And he and I have a great chemistry together. So we got back together. I said, let's write something for the album. And we did all of it in his studio, which is why he's the producer. He ended up being the producer for Black Dahlia and also for No Lessons, which are the 2 songs with him. And Dahlia, we kind of started from scratch. Went up to his house, and he had it was very much the way I used to write with Dave. You know, Jay had some musical ideas going, and then I started singing some melodies on top of it. And basically, the song, is the sequel to Pamela. It's about the same person.
What?
Yeah.
Was her name Pamela?
Mm-hmm.
Was she an ex?
Yes. Yeah, an ex from when I was in my 20s. A very, very tumultuous, passionate relationship that didn't end well for me. You know, it was one of those relationships that made a huge impression. And therefore, came out in the song Pamela, which, so that was and this song is kind of, it's about the same person. Now, this person is somebody who I know, and this is somebody who's close to our age now, and somebody who's a parent.
So you guys went full circle and became friends again? Or?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we don't talk regularly or whatever, but we're not enemies. Right. I saw her at my nephew's wedding, and it was, hey, nice to see you, blah, blah, blah.
Nothing like the songs about her?
I don't know if she knows this new one is, because the album hasn't come out or anything.
She knew. At what point did she know Pamela was about her? Is her name Pamela?
Yes. No, her name's Pamela, and she knew right away, because when I wrote it, we had broken up for a long time, but we gotten together to get some dinner or whatever, and I was playing her rough mixes of the seventh one stuff. And I said, yeah, here's your song. And she loved it. She thought it was great. That was, that Pamela was intentionally written for her. And this one is just a sort of a companion to that one, because, the relationship, she's an actress. And when she was young, she was very personable and part of being an actor means that you need to put yourself out there personality wise and socialize and all that kind of stuff. And I was jealous. I got very jealous with all of that. I wanted all of her attention, and she kind of was working. So it ended up in this sort of tumultuous and not fun ending. So in a tongue-in-cheek way, very tongue-in-cheek way, Black Dahlia is for her.
And what does it say about?
Well, she was one of those girls that was like, if you remember the story of the woman, who we all know as the Black Dahlia, who was murdered in Los Angeles. If you read about her a little bit about her before that happened, she was very, very vivacious and bubbly, and she was always at clubs, and she hung out, and she wanted to be an actress, and she, socialized and stuff, and had that sort of thing that I'm guessing made it very difficult for a guy to be in a relationship with her, that kind of thing. And Pam was very much that same kind of a thing. So that was where the Black Dahlia, and also the phrase, you're the real Black Dahlia, that that lyric was written just because it sounded great with the music. I got to be perfectly honest with you. There's no real thought behind it. It was just sort of like, man, this is great. It sounds sort of Steely Dan-ish. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
And then as the lyric developed, I realized, hey, this is kind of also about that person. So, that's sort of how that developed.
The new album, like Denizen, I've always looked at that as like a foreigner, a tenant. Is is that about like a tenant?
Well, the song originated with this guy Steve Overton, who's a guitar player, a friend of mine who lives in New Mexico, and he writes these wonderful, quirky pieces. He's a very funny with a guy with an acerbic wit. I'll put it to you that way. And he wrote the concept of the lyric is all his in that particular song. Although it had a different title when I started working with him on it, but most of his songs are about an old relationship that obviously was a live-in kind of a situation. And I think Denizen Tenant, which was originally called Your Other Left, was one of those songs, one of his quirky sort of satiric. I don't know how to describe how the lyrics, sort of poetic, but tongue in cheek, a little bit angry. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. My take on it when I started working with the song is, it felt a little bit unfinished and it had no real chorus. It had, so we co-wrote it together to finish. But I loved the words that he had because they were just unusual. They were just kind of different. And the chorus did have that phrase, Denizen Tenant. And so I asked him, obviously, what he meant by it. And like, as I said, it was kind of a relationship thing. But what's so great, the word, when I looked up denizen, one of the definitions for denizen is a cat that wanders in out of the wild into your house and decides that that's its home. So I loved that idea because, and a tenant obviously is somebody who you're a tenant of your house, that kind of thing. And by the way, we are all denizens of the United States or wherever you are, So the two words together somehow for me meant like the guy who comes to your party but just won't leave. It's like like the cat who comes in and decides that your house is his home. So, and I loved that idea because when I was a younger man, I was kind of that guy. I had a little bit of that thing where I would come and hang out and it would be, 3 a.m. It's like, Joe, you need to go, that kind of thing. So that was sort of how I took its meaning.
Remember, there are links in the description of this video to both Joe Williams' brand new album and Steve Lukather's brand new project as well. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. More from Joseph Williams coming up in a few days. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music.